Hi folks, Cowboy here. Hope you're doing well. This evening we're going to be making what I call Cowboy casserole. Now a lot of people call it by different names. And once I show you the ingredients, you will probably become familiar with it. So I'm going to show you those ingredients. I'm going to show you the pan I'm going to cook it in. And then we'll get down to business. So the top layer is going to be tater tots. And our meat is going to be some ground beef, 96%. And then we'll have some peas and carrots. Then we'll have a vegetable medley. Then we're going to add a can of cream of mushroom soup. I always like to add a can of choux-ped corn. 2 onions, 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm going to be cooking it in this, I guess you could call this fancy iron skillet. Of course, coated, and it's got some French name. So let's get this on and get it started, and I'll show you how it goes. So we've already got those onions chopped up, but I did want to mention one thing that I did forget, and that is some sharp cheddar cheese that's going to be sprinkled on it. Didn't want to leave that out. So I've got the garlic and the onions chopped. I'm letting my pan warm a little bit with just a little bit of olive oil. And now I'm going to put the meat in. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little salt and pepper. Now we have this fancy meat thing that you chop your meat up with, but you've heard me say before, I like to use a wooden spoon. So we're going to give that some time and we'll get that taken care of, and then we'll cook the onions and the garlic. So our meat is done. I'm going to take the onions. I put a little more olive oil in there, and of course I left what little bit of grease that was there. That 96.4%, there's not going to be much grease, but there was a little bit. So we'll give these just a few minutes. There's a couple of pieces of little beef in there, but that's not going to hurt anything. We're going to give it a little more black pepper. As you know, I like a lot of black pepper. And then we're going to give it just a tad more salt, not much. Now, after we get this assembled, we will be baking it at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. So we got that going. And we're now going to take our garlic and get that mixed in. Let that release some of its great juices. Smells delicious. I love the smell of cooked onions and garlic. They just add so much flavor to a dish. Alright, we'll let those go for just a couple more minutes. Probably not even a minute. Then we will start assembling. So we have got that done. We're going to go ahead and put our meat back in. We drained it just a little. We're going to go ahead and put that corn in. Our cream of mushroom soup. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water to get a little bit more of that. Then we're going to start adding our mixed vegetables. Our peas and carrots. We'll take that, get that all mixed up. Now I have already turned the heat off. So we'll get this coated all with that liquid from the soup. And now we're going to start to put that cheese on. So we got that all mixed well. So now we're going to add the cheese. Oh, don't that look delicious? All right. Next is going to be the tater tots. We are going to continue to do this until the top is completely covered with the tater tots. So there we go. You can see it's completely covered with the tater tots, and now it's time to put it in the oven. Okay, let's put it in the oven, 350 degrees. And remember, we're going to set a timer for 40 minutes. So now, let's just sit back and wait and get ready to have a delicious meal. Okay, our 40 minutes is up. It's smelling delicious. I got it sitting over there on the stove. I'm going to bring it over here on the counter and let's serve it up and see what it looks like. So there it is. Let's serve it up and see how that looks. Oh yeah. Look at all that deliciousness in there. Very good. So as usual, I'm hungry. So I believe it's time to go eat. So I'll see you on down the trail.